Mic check 1 2 1 2. Shalom, shalom. Am I coming in clear? Mic check 1 2 1 2. Okay, I'll take that as a yes. Shalom, Namawa. Shalom to you and the family. Jawan, shalom, Mike. Hopefully y'all well. I'm on a time constraint today, so we're gonna be getting it in very, very shortly. I just want to check all of the functions. We're gonna get right to it. What's good, Ashar? Shalom. El Kanan, the fam down there in Jacksonville, man. Hopefully y'all are well, man. Shalom. Shabbat shalom to y'all. All praise, honor, and glory to the Most High. Why Yahweh Shai. All right. Right, Yah, shalom, sis. Hopefully you and the family's doing well. And we all here on the Shabbat, giving all praise, honor, and glory to the Most High. Why Yahweh Shai, man. Let's do this correctly. All right. Hopefully everybody's good, man. We're gonna go ahead and get started. Um, and let's get to it, man. You know, you see the topic. Kevin Samuels, you know, that's relevant news for the Negro in the Twitter sphere, YouTube sphere, Instagram sphere. Okay, y'all want to talk about that? Do we need to touch on that? Is he relevant? His death relevant for the nation as it comes to the end time prophecy and everything that's going on in the world, man? The Negro is so distracted. You know, I didn't agree with everything that the brother said, but I did agree with a lot. I ain't gonna say a lot because I didn't watch him that often. I watched some of his podcasts or whatever he does, or whatever he was doing on YouTube. But the brother made a lot of relevant points, man, and checking the sisters. Um, okay, see, I don't know who he is. All right, so let me just recap him, man. This brother is he was a quote unquote image consultant and relationship advisor that had a strong presence on YouTube and Instagram and whatnot. And he hurt a lot of sisters' feelings. You know, the so-called black woman and her aspirations to get what he categorized as a high-value man. High-value man means that he's making, you know, six figures, professional, homeowner, so forth and so on. You know, and a lot of sisters had they hopes on saying, "I want that type of man." And he would, you know, bust their bubble and be like, "Well, look, you ain't got nothing going on. You don't bring nothing to the table besides five kids and this, then the third. Set your standards a little bit lower, sis. That ain't gonna work for you." And a lot of sisters would get offended and mad and didn't like how we came at him. Yeah, he used to, you know, he used to cut them sisters and brothers too. I done heard him gotta get on some jakes too, you know. But nonetheless, he was either loved or hated when it came down to his advice and the information that he was putting out there. Um, and he died a couple days ago uh, from cardiac arrest. And you know, first thing popping in my head is, how's his arm feeling? You dig what I'm? You know what I'm talking about? I guarantee you, uh, he has some needle marks in the arm, and was that the cause? You know, we don't know if he had any pre-existing conditions that could have led towards his demise. If he didn't, and we can put two and two together, and then we go back and we research and find out if there's a particular syringe that has something in it that you can poke in your arm that can cause heart issues, don't be surprised. You dig what I mean? You know what I'm talking about. Like, I got to be careful here, right? Uh, if not that, you know, the blogs or whatever talking about, you know, he had picked up some little 32-year-old white woman, and they had some escapades overnight, and the next morning he had some heart issues and collapsed on her. So, you know, That's part that's why I say I don't agree with some of the stuff because in a lot of instances, the image that he put up as a quote unquote high value man, a lot of sisters would only find that in white men. And then you see when you get the divesting movement and sisters chasing after white men and want a bed wench for their oppressor because the image that he was portraying was like, look, you're not gonna get it in these niggas out the street. Tyrone and Shaquan, they not high value. But that's what you choosing, sisters? Okay. Then you're gonna have to stick with them. But if you want a man that's in the top tier 5% of the country, you're gonna step your game up. But anyway, let's get him out the way. So I try to cover everything that's quote unquote relevant. Since the niggas love to hear about some drama. Okay, Kevin Samuels. All right. So let's get to it, man. Let me share uh what's going on. I'm not gonna belabor the point too much with him. All right. It's not necessary. But Jake's want to hear about it. Okay. So Uh, Kevin Samuels, YouTuber with 1.4 million subscribers, has died. His mother says Samuels' views on dating and relationships with many people on social media felt were an attack on black women often sparked outrage. Why? Because he criticized, women that was out of shape. He criticized them for having their hopes up high and, shot them down to reality. Wanting to instill um, family values and marriages within households, telling them stop being gold diggers. I guess that was offensive. Reason being, when we talk about this is because there's been a whole tirade on Black Twitter, and there's been a lot of celebrating amongst Black women that the demise of this brother should be celebrated, and I don't know where their understanding comes from, but being that ours comes from the word of the Lord, you out of pocket for celebrating the death of a black man. Whether you agreed, understood what he was talking about or not, you can't treat him as if he was like public enemy number one, like he was out there raping and lynching and killing sisters, the same ones that these sisters was getting impregnated by. Baby daddy's locked up in jail and all of that. You can still have compassion for him, but this brother telling you, get your life together, sister. You can't, you know, you you want a man that's making 1 million plus. And I heard some of these sisters on there. He's asking them, well, what's your ideal man? What do you want? Do you plan on working? Are you gonna, support the household? Can you build and help him maintain his estate? What do you bring to the table? I bring me. Look, I look good. I can cook, and he's like, well, this brother's got he can get that a dime a dozen. What can you bring to the table that's actually going to enhance this man or help him maintain the level of success that he's already achieved without you? And then you look at some of these sisters, man, they delusional. And he telling them, look, you out of pocket. You can't do that. So there's been a whole charade of women that's celebrating this brother's death, right? And that's only another distraction, man. The so-called white man loves to see the discord amongst our nation. And I'm like I said, I don't agree with everything the brother says. Shit, he died in the arms of a damn white woman. But look at this. Let me just share a couple of things so we can know what we're talking about. Okay. Um, here you got a brother talking about it's because of the Red Bulls. That ain't the problem. I think that he got some track marks in his arm. I think Karatazar said he did get the jump shot. So if he did, you start seeing sudden cardiac arrest deaths. I've showed the videos. We cover the reports. You see the athletes dying and dropping, and all of that from cardiac arrest after they got some needle marks in their arm. All right. Yeah, Karatazar. They supposedly saying he was with a white woman. He was with a Edomite. But I don't know how relevant it is. Nonetheless, he collapsed on top of her. So you tell me what they was doing. And he had a little one night stand. So obviously he was a fornicator. So again, I don't agree with everything that he said, but he did have some insightful wisdom and understanding that he was laying down on sisters and sisters didn't like that. So let's look at this. Hold on, let me get this out the way. Um, where is it at? Okay, look. Kevin Samuels called women over 35 leftovers. In less than a week, his ass became a bag of bones with laughing emojis. Which priestess is responsible? I'm tipping today. Priestess. As they celebrating voodoo, witchcraft, and everything else. Thinking that, oh, one of these Jezebels threw a spell on him because he said, look, if you're 35 with kids and you trying to expect you're gonna get a man with no kids that's got success and money and this, that, and the third, he's gonna look at you as leftovers. Somebody's already had you. Somebody's already established a legacy with you in your womb or whatnot. Okay, you didn't like how we put it, but it is what it is. But we know scripturally, the scriptures say you're supposed to be a father to the fatherless, a husband to the widows, so forth and so on. So, you know, again, I don't agree with everything that he said, but at the end of the day, look at the celebration. Look, okay, someone please verify this news before I pop bottles. Stop donating. Who is this? Stop donating to BLM National and Sean King. So this is somebody who's anti BLM and all of that. Okay, anyway, they want to pop some bottles. Look at this one. You're a sick person if you're celebrating Kevin Samuel's death. And they put me. Look at this. So I guess she's sick. She got her damn earbuds in her nostrils, and you know she ain't gonna wipe them before she puts them back into her damn ears. Anyway, let's move on. Kevin Samuels made a career off of bashing women and upholding oppressive gender standards. Okay, so now we're talking toxic masculinity. You know, sensitive women. You don't want to hear the truth. Oppressive gender standards. I didn't listen to him that often, but I didn't hear nothing oppressive. Uh, he didn't tell the women go slave in the kitchen and clean it. He said, "Listen, what do you bring to the table besides yourself?" And most of them are always ignorant and were just like, "I bring me." And they went on there trying to challenge him and overtalk him, and he always also check him. The scriptures tell you not to interrupt men in the midst of their speech. So every time women try to get loud, they tell them, "Shut up! This ain't your platform. Don't try to overtalk me." They didn't like that. I guess that's oppressive. Anyway, they said, y'all want us to take the high road when we find out he passed away. Yeah, you should. We're going to get a scripture on that. Now, if Kevin Samuel's news is true, what are they saying? Well, so, she's laughing, video. Look at this. Here's more celebration. Kevin Samuels is a terrorist, and if and when a terrorist dies, you rejoice. You dance on his grave. You knock down the statues. You spit and piss on his grave. That man promoted violence against black women. If he's dead, let the bells ring. Uh, I don't know about that. Like I said, I ain't listened to him enough. I never heard him promoting violence against black women. But with 1.4 million viewers and thousands watching him live on the regular, if he was really like that, people wouldn't be watching. And there's a vast amount of women that watch his thing and get advice. According to him, he done assembled and had marriages based upon um, his advice. So you draw your own conclusion. F boy Twitter on their way to Kevin Samuel's funeral. I guess these are all the men that was following. I mean, you see the point. You see the point, right? Okay. So the celebration of death, man, of a brother that died in our nation is just it's disgusting. Um, let's look at Ecclesiasticus. I think I'm on chapter 8. Oops, I spelled it wrong. Let's look at Ecclesiasticus chapter 8 and verse 7. Okay. First of all, because we abide by scripture, what's the scripture say? Sirach 8 and 7 says, "Rejoice not over thy greatest enemy being dead, but remember that we all die." See, we're not supposed to be, celebrating when a brother dies and all that other stuff, man. There's a lot of evil that goes on within Israel, man. I was hearing and seeing Uh, a lot of commentary. I don't know what happened with Bishop Nathaniel over there at IUIC, but I know the brother's been ill, and he's trying to get his health in order, and he's been MIA. And there was a lot of people, within Israel that was celebrating and damn near like hoping that the brother passes away, or that and I get it, if brothers are saying, hey, you know what, this is judgment for the Most High, he needs to repent. I understand that. The scriptures say the Most High said he wounds, he heals, he does it all. He makes sick, he makes the causes sickness, he causes death, but he also can bring man back. So if the brother's repenting, man, and the Most High is restoring them, let him do that. But you don't sit back and cheerlead and wave around some pom poms of death, saying hopefully this gets rid of him, so I can be vindicated and I can go on live and talk about, see, I told you. Now we see here, the scriptures tell us, man, rejoice not over thy greatest enemy being dead. And here these old egghead women is running around here utilizing their social media platforms, man, to celebrate the death of another Israelite. Disgusting. Disgusting. Proverbs. There's another scripture in Proverbs 15. And let's read verse 10. See, and it says, Proverbs 15:10 says, correction is grievous unto him that forsaketh the way. So, I've always said this, man, and I need to get it copywritten and put on a plaque or something. The truth hurts only if you're living a lie. I'm gonna say that again. The truth hurts only if you're living a lie. That's the only reason why people get offended by the truth. It's because they've been engulfed in lies. And Yahweh Shai said it best in John 8:32. You shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free. Right? So if you're living a lie, man, when the truth hits you, it's going to be an offense to you. But it said it's only going to be grievous if you forsake the way. Well, obviously, what this brother was out here showing correction and putting sisters in their place and whatnot, it became grievous. But it says only if you forsake the way. If you've lost your way, if you're not following after the ways, putting off your family because you want to chase a career, because you want to get your education, and you say, you know what, I don't want no damn kids until I get my my this degree and that degree and all my goals established. By the time you're 35 to 38, you're at high risk for pregnancy, and here comes a man that you're saying you want to pursue, and he says I want a family, and you're saying, well, you know what, I'm too old to have kids. Is that not selfish? And he's calling you out saying, what the hell was you thinking about? Like, you think a man's gonna want, he wants to bear seed, so he's gonna go get a younger woman. That's an offense. Oh no, how dare you? Stuff like that, right? But it says correction is grievous unto him that forsaketh the way. So this is why you see all this outrage and women running around here bugged out because of this brother's death, because the correction was too grievous when he was right, but when he was off, he was off. That's for anything. But it says, and he that hateth reproof shall die. So in every instance that we just got to reading, you celebrate the death of your greatest enemy. The Most High said you got to always remember everybody dies at some point in time. You could be next. Now we seeing here, if you hate correction, you're gonna die. So everything that these sisters is out here celebrating and putting up these memes and all that, listen, they're gonna get put to death. Eventually, at some point in time, it comes back around. You reap what you sow. All right. So enough of that. We got him out the way. Let's move on now. Okay, more celebrity news. I know y'all want to talk. We know Dave Chappelle. He gets attacked. The cat that got him, he gets stomped out. They dislocated his arm or something like that. I bring this out only because of the fact that there was always the threat or wondering, well, what did Will Smith's actions mean for other comedians? Now we're seeing the gates being open. Why is that even relevant? Because now we're seeing the gateway for brothers that's out there on them highways and them byways. People's going to think that they can just jump up there, and brothers have had confrontations before, but now it may be even more relevant to where people start jumping out their bike, jumping out their cars, running up on Jace because they thinking that's the thing to do. Oh, let's go viral. Let's attack the Israelites. So brothers that's out there on the highways and the byways, man, you got to be on your P's and Q's. You got to be vigilant because now we're going to go. We may start seeing some more escalations because look, Look at the penalty. Well, they held him on 30,000 bail. Well, let's just read it. All right. Dave Chappelle attacker pleads not guilty is ordered to stay 100 yards away from the comedian. This is the updated thing. Now, mind you, he had a fake gun with a knife attached to it, right? And made a lame attempt to try to attack Dave Chappelle, and he ended up getting stomped out, in his arm broke for it, right? So it says the man accused of attacking comedian Dave Chappelle on stage at the Hollywood Bowl while carrying a replica gun that contained a switchblade pleaded not guilty today to 4 misdemeanor counts. So how can you even plead not guilty, man? You on video, but that's a public defender saying, you know, plead not guilty, man. Maybe we can make a deal, okay? Because if he pleads guilty, it's already lined up, man. The prosecutor's gonna line him up and get him up out of here. So they, trying to work out a little deal. In the meantime, this is what they got. Isaiah Lee, 23, who was initially booked on suspicion of assault with a deadly weapon, remains jailed in lieu of a $30,000 bail. So obviously he don't have the bread to bail out. He needs 10% of that. So if he had 3,000, he'd be out. He ain't got it, so he's stuck. If he manages to post bail and is released, he was ordered to remain at least 100 yards away from Chappelle and the Hollywood Bowl. So that's pretty easy. I mean, he's probably never going to see Dave Chappelle again. So you got to stay within the football field's distance from him, and you can't go back to the Hollywood Bowl. He's due back in court on May 20th. So the real issue is this, you know, the floodgates have been open now for public attacks on people who are out there speaking. Be it a comedian, be brothers out there on the highways and the byways teaching out here, and somebody feels offended, they try to run up. It is what it is, man. So brothers got to make sure that you're prepared and are being vigilant out there when it comes down to this, because this is a spirit that spirals and jumps on people. So this was the next one to try to make a public appearance and seeing how they can attack somebody who's out there doing their job. And our job is to teach this word. All right. So we just got to be careful, and we got to see what's going on, and know where this could lead to. Okay. Here's the next thing, that we see what's going on. Why did federal police square off with abortion rights protesters in LA streets? Let's talk about this for a hot second. So, the question is here, why did federal police square off with abortion rights protesters in LA streets? So, in other words, why did the feds get involved and not just the LAPD? The LAPD couldn't handle them. So we know right now the Roe versus Wade overturning of the right to choose and abortion rights is on the table. There was a big story that got leaked out that said that the government was going to overturn it and say that abortion was going to be illegal in in the United States, right? So once this information got leaked, it hasn't been passed, but the information got leaked out. Now all of a sudden there's protests. All the abortion advocates are running wild in the streets, and they had a big protest in L.A. last week, and there was a little square off and a little thing happening with the police. Here's the deal: the reason why we're even seeing this is because of the primaries. There always has to be a reason for people to rally around the Democratic Party, because now this how deep the so-called white man is. He's so strategic in how he's assembling the political movements, man, and the social experiments that he has on people's minds. We see that slow Biden and um, Kamala Harris's approval ratings is down the drain. Kamala Harris, damn near half her staff done quit and ran out on her. There's been no real public sightings of her. She done tested positive for the DVOC. Um, and she just now tested negative. So, it took her like 2 weeks to get her act together, right? You got these primaries coming up in what, November? Where we at? May, June, July, August, September, October, November. Less than 6 months. The November primaries is coming up to where everything is leaning towards the Republicans is getting ready to take back the House, man, and lead the charge to um, hopefully for them to get control of the eventual elections in 2024. So if they get control of the House, they get more power over dictating policy. So Every time there's election, we always know that there's protest, there's madness that goes on in the streets. The Democrats are known to be pro pro abortion and all of that, right? So they've let loose the hounds when it comes down to the support. They still don't know who quote unquote leaked this story about how the government was going to be, overturning state laws about abortion come this summer. Nobody knows. But all of a sudden now we got more rioting, more protesting, and the Democrats are saying, "Hey, look what the Republicans are trying to do. We're the ones who's going to get your back. We're the ones that's pro-choice. We don't want that to happen. Do you? If the Republicans get control of the House, this is going to happen." So what's that mean? Everybody's got to rally around the Democrats now. This is a power move. You got to rally around. Hold on. This is a power move. Sirach 13:6. Let's read that. Shoot. Let's look at this. Because we know what time it is, man. The so-called white man is so damn deceptive, man. He is seriously strategic in how he moves. You can't call on BLM no more. Their reputation is ruined. They just got busted, embezzling and stealing money, buying homes, and having unaccounted for with their finances and all that. So we can't. They can't use Black Lives Matter right now to rally around the Democrats to get everybody riled up to go get to these primaries and vote them in. So they're burnt out. You can't use them no more, right? Can't use the DVOC as a reason to say, look, the Democrats are trying to protect everybody. We need everybody to go line up and go get their fix and go get their arm, violated. Can't use that now, even though if you just seen Man of Monday, Bill Gates crawled out his hole, talking about we haven't seen the worst of it yet. But his reputation is kind of sketchy because of his infidelities and because of his links with Jeffrey Epstein and his multiple trips going to Pedo Island and all of that, man. He wanted to get his little microphallus into some of these little young little girls, and it ended up, his wife saying, "You know what? I can't deal with it. You're out of here." So now we need a new focus for people to, zone in on. Also, it's abortion. Oh, it's the pro-choice thing. So now they're going to utilize that, weaponize that up until these primaries and get everybody riled up. They're going to have some little riots in the street. They're going to have people bugged out because this is the next move. So here we say he don't give a damn about you and yours. Listen, we're going to get to some scriptures too, man, just to show and prove why abortion is wrong. We, brothers and sisters should be aware of that. But if you need some precepts, we'll get to it. But this is what it's about. Sirach 13:6. If he had need of thee, he will deceive thee and smile upon thee and put thee in hope. Keep us in power. Keep the Democrats in power. I got your back. We're going to take care of you. I mean, Slow Biden is pulling out all the stops. I'm going to show y'all a couple of things because they down in the dumps, man. Things ain't looking good. Nobody's feeling him. He can barely put two sentences together. She's ducked away and hiding out, claiming she got the DVOC, right? And now they say, look, we got to make a power move, man. Things ain't looking good. What do we have in our arsenal? What can we use? Okay, let's go with the abortion. Yeah, okay, let's ride with that, man. The war is not working. We can't use the DVOC no more. We can't use stimulus no more. What's next? Oh, abortion. That's on the table. Let's go with that one, man. We got to get the people's minds back. We need them back programmed to support blue. It's all game. If he have need of thee, he will deceive thee and smile upon thee and put thee in hope. He will speak thee fair and say, what wantest thou? Oh, you want pro-choice? Yes, you should be. Meanwhile, Slow Biden is on record back in the 80s voting against pro-choice. So he's on record saying that he's not with abortion. And now all of a sudden he done flip-flop because he wants your votes? Oh, okay. All right. So we see what the deal is with that. This is why the feds is involved. This is why governmental forces are involved. They're asking why. An abortion rights protest had been going on peacefully for hours in downtown LA on Tuesday when a quote help call suddenly went out over police radios around 9 p.m. The SOS didn't come from the LA Los Angeles police officers, but a small group of federal officers with the Department of Homeland Security. They claimed, according to a statement by the LAPD, that they had come, quote, under attack from protesters while in their patrol cars near the intersection of 5th and Hill Streets, about a half mile away from the federal courthouse where the protests had begun, where federal officers have jurisdiction. And they're calling for backup. So clearly we see why the feds got involved. Let's look at a couple of scriptures, though, just to show why abortion is unlawful, right? Let's look at the law. Exodus 21. Uh-oh, what'd I do? Let's look at 22. All right. If men strive and hurt a woman with child, so that her fruit depart from her, okay? So the child is looked at as fruit, whether it's from a fetus all the way down to the seed of man, because even the scriptures tell you that the fruit of a man's loin is in his seed, and it was unlawful for a woman to even strike or grab or damage a man's seed. That's considered fruit. So any part of the reproductive system that gets damaged through violence, that's punishable by death. If men strive and hurt a woman with child, so that her fruit depart from, so brothers shouldn't be running around getting vasectomies. The scriptures even tell you in Deuteronomy 23, in the first chapter, if a man have his private member cut off, he can't even be part or be around the congregation any longer. Right? So now, if a woman has seed within her, the fruit is there. She's developing a fetus. Doesn't matter if it's 1 week, 2 weeks, 2 days. That morning after pill, all of that is abominable and wicked. Here's a matter of confrontation. If a man strive and a woman, if men strive and hurt a woman with child, so sister's there, her husband and another man, they in there fighting, and the woman gets too close, she gets knocked down. That's why sisters, man, stay out of man's business. Don't be jumping in trying to help your husband fight. However zealous you are, however much you want to get his back, don't jump in because you get hurt, you get harmed, your baby gets harmed. You can't blame nobody but yourself. So, in other words, this woman, she got involved somehow. Maybe she was just standing on the sideline. This is just a scenario. Somehow she gets injured in the midst of men fighting. She could have been an innocent bystander, standing there filming for the damn Instagram or filming for whatever, and gets hit. So that her fruit depart from her, and yet no mischief follow, he shall be surely punished, according as the woman's husband will lay upon him, and he shall pay as the judges determine. Okay, so there's punishments for that. But the fact of the matter is that if there was an incident and it wasn't, intentional, said no mischief follow, meaning that he didn't go behind it, he didn't go out there and continue stomping her out and doing all that. They had to stop fighting, man, and the husband had to lay down a judgment based upon it. So you see here, if any mischief follow, then he shall give life for life. So if there was mischief, so if it was accidental, the woman's husband would lay upon it and bring it toward the judges, and he had to pay repercussions. If it was malicious, then life for life, eye for eye, tooth for tooth, wound for wound, stripe for stripe, so forth and so on. Right? Okay. So that lets us know all automatically how the Most High views life in the womb. Didn't matter where and when, he recognizes it as life. Look, simple. Exodus 20:13. Thou shalt not kill. When you perform an abortion, you are killing a live fetus in there. That's against the laws of the Most High. And here they are banning it in Texas, banning it in Florida, banning, and you got these Edomites, man, running around here, and you got Negroes and Hispanics and everybody rallying around talking about my body, my choice. How dare you? Don't try to control my body. If I want to run around and have one night stands and get caught up, and I want to take my morning after pill, or if I get caught slipping with if I break it with my boyfriend and I find out that I'm 3 weeks pregnant, I should have every right to spite him and get rid of this baby, and to hell with what you're talking about. Like, this is the type of stuff that's going on. And yes, you could talk about, oh, well, what about somebody get raped? Well, the scriptures tell us about the laws of rape in Deuteronomy. I think it's in the 22nd chapter as well. But even still, the Lord still never said that you can abort or destroy the life of the child. If you have to give it up for abortion, adoption or what have you, then that's what you're supposed to be doing. But let's look what the scriptures say about my body. 1 Corinthians 6:19, it says, what? Know ye not that your body is the temple of the Holy Ghost, which is in you, which ye have of God, and ye are not your own. Verse 20, for ye are bought with a price. So our whole existence is based upon the price and the sacrifice of Yahushua, Jesus Christ. Gave his blood, paid for the repentance of the sins of the children of Israel, for us to have the grace and the mercy to repent and get back right with the Most High, seeking his face 10 times or more, moving in the spirit of humility, moving in the spirit of meekness, praying for the Most High's forgiveness for our sins and our transgressions, dedicating our bodies as living sacrifices, as it says in Romans the 12th chapter. We're not our own. We know you don't say it's my body, my choice. But at the same time, you want to condemn somebody that's smoking crack or a woman that's running around here prostituting herself. You look down on her. I'll never be a hoe. What if she said, well, it's my body, my choice? Are you going to stand on that? Or are you still going to judge her? That's the type of hypocrisy that goes on when we're dealing with this particular subject matter, right? But the scripture says that you're not your own. We're bought with a price so that we can glorify the Most High in our bodies, right? So that, scripturally, that leads to the ends of what it means to say minds. Look at Deuteronomy. We always go to 15, but we forget about this one. Verse 4. Deuteronomy 28:4 says, blessed shall be the fruit of thy body. So that lets us know that when you see that Exodus 21, they talk about the fruit departing out the woman. We used to be blessed with multiple fruits in the body. Well, the Most High told us that we're as the sands of the sea. When we read in Exodus, the first chapter, talking about the more that we were afflicted, the more that we grew. The Most High said that the bodies of our Israelite women and the viralness of the Israelite man's seed, it said we blessed, constantly being able to populate, not having to worry about stillborn births, or not having to deal with any particular aspects of birth defects and all that other stuff. The Most I said, man, when we was right, the fruits of our body, man, we was populating, man. We was popping up them babies, man, healthy, strong babies, man, adding to the nation. That's when we was right with the Lord. Blessed be the fruit of thy body, and the fruit of thy ground, and the fruit of thy cattle, the increase of thy kind, the flocks of our sheep. Everything that we put forth our hands to do as far as population was concerned, fruitfulness, the Lord said that's how our bodies was built. But now look at this. This is the wickedness of Judah going on during it, and why we end up getting smoked in captivity in Babylon, right? I'm just gonna read verse. Let's just read it down, okay? Verse 1 down to 3. Jeremiah 8:1, it says, at that time, saith the Lord, they shall bring out the bones of the kings of Judah, and the bones of the princes, and the bones of the priests, and the bones of the prophets, and the bones of the inhabitants of Judah, Shalakia, of Jerusalem, out of their graves. And they shall spread them before the sun and the moon and all the host of heaven, whom they have loved and whom they have served, and after whom they have walked. So we're seeing here the men and the women of Judah, man, was out here worshiping and praising the dead, digging up the bones of the old kings. This is why, when the question remains and comes up about, well, what about where are the bones at? Where's the bones of Moses? Where are the bones of this? When you hear that from the Pan-African community, the Kemetic community, and all of that, where are the bones at? Well, we're seeing here, man, the graves were being robbed, graves were being updug. Even in the book of Sirach, I think it's in Sirach 40. Hold on, let me give proper reference. I don't want to tell y'all wrong. Sirach 44:9. It tell you that There were great men of Israel who had no remembrance anymore. So, our grave sites were being violated, being restricted from being even dug up and even excavated. You know, that's why we don't see a lot of historical findings when it comes down to some of the men of Israel and the great men of the Old Testament, right? But here we see our people's out here worshiping the host of heaven, the moon, the sun, getting caught up. It says, and this is who they were serving, whom they have walked, and whom they have sought, and whom they have worshipped. They shall not be gathered nor buried. They shall be for dung upon the face of the earth. So they, the bodies and the kings and the prophets, princes was getting destroyed. Verse 3. And death shall be chosen rather than life by all the residue of them that remain of this evil family. Well, let's look at this. Death being chose rather than life. Let me see. I had a dang. I might have got rid of it. I have one up. I thought I had it. Look at this. Death being chosen rather than life. According to the CDC, 117,626 black children are killed by abortion in 1 year. This is statistics of 2018. Did you hear that? 117,626. That's just black children. We ain't talking about Hispanics, Native American. Just black children alone. 117,000 killed by abortion. Okay? That's how much these damn demons over here are profiteering off of the death of the Israelite man, death of the Israelite woman, the mutilation of these women's bodies. As they keep talking about, oh, there's more humane ways we're doing it now. We're not just going in and pulling and yanking and sucking them out with vacuums. And see, that's just that. Uh, there was I don't know if I got it on here, but there was another article about uh there were more babies being aborted in New York than they were being born. More death of black babies in New York than being born. I'm gonna see if I can find that article, but I might have it um in this PowerPoint. But nonetheless, this is why the feds is involved, because number one, they want to continue promoting the death of the Israelite seed line, right? Didn't the scripture say in Psalms 83, we'll cut them off from being a people? I mean, it's all part of the plan, man. When the government is in there saying no, yes, go out there and abort and kill more babies, kill more black potential heirs to the throne. Cut off the seed of Israel from being a nation and a people. This is the only way that we can do it. They're sterilizing the women in the prisons. They're sterilizing the Native American women population. They're already trying to cut off the seed of man, promoting and telling, brothers, go out there, get your vasectomies, man. Stop running around here creating, getting these babies out here. Telling the women, go ahead, it's your body, your choice, man. Go ahead and suck them babies up out of there, man. Destroy them. They even got laws, man, when they're doing supposedly there's laws out there for post-abortion, after the death or late-term abortions. I've covered some of these stories. They even talking about even up to 40 weeks. Can you abort? And then they take you know what they do with the body parts. I was talking about that and covering stories about that, about aborted babies and the fetuses and everything that they using like 8-9 years ago. So we know what this is about. And it ain't about because they love your women's womb so much. Oh, we love you black women's wombs. We love the babies. We love whatever you want to do, honey. Go ahead and make your choice. No, they trying to make sure, man, that the blood and the seed line of Israel continually gets cut off. Plus, they want them votes. They want them votes. All right, so let's move on. Look at it. Dems tell voters to punish Republicans. This is the Dems and reps It's Democrats and Republicans, right? This is how you see they're using it for. Yeah, they're using it as cannon fodder in these political wars. Punish them. How? By going to vote Democrat in your Republican primaries. Hello? Do you see the you see the move? All right. Dems tell voters to punish reps over abortion and midterms. Senior Dems say elections will determine whether cruel new restrictions on abortion will be put in place. So it's not cruel to kill the baby. It's not cruel to destroy the life in the woman's womb. Oh, it's not cruel to do late term abortions up to 3 months, 9 months, second and third trimesters. That's not cruel. Oh, the cruelty is telling you can't do it. I mean, and then you wonder why this place got to get judged and get destroyed. Uh, Shalaki, I don't think I finished that scripture. Yeah, Jeremiah 8:3 says, "And death shall be chosen rather than life. 117,000 abortions of black babies in 1 year. Can you imagine what that would do for our population, man? If they keep talking about, oh, we ain't moved for, so-called blacks ain't moved from 13% of the population since we've been here. I mean, you just constantly saying we just aren't populating. We're not growing. Oh, we're growing in the prisons, right? We're growing in the graves, but we're not growing as a people. How is that happening? Death shall be chosen rather than life, and all the residue of them that remain of this evil family, which remains in all the places whither I have driven them, saith the Lord of hosts. They still here. Same spirit of people is still here. The regeneration, they still out here. This evil family of so-called Judites, blacks out here killing their seed off. Look, hold on. Here you go. I think I do have this in the spreadsheet though. I made a spreadsheet in the PowerPoint. Tragic report: more black babies are aborted in New York City than are born. Hey, mission accomplished. Isn't that what the so-called white man wants? I mean, let's just see. I quoted it, but let's just revisit real quick, just in case we forgot. They have Psalms 83:3. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people. How did they take crafty counsel? They start utilizing and politicizing things and telling you it's your body, your choice. You shouldn't let these old white men over there, these Republicans, tell you that you can't kill your babies, sister. Huh? This is crafty. This is all based upon politicism, and they're utilizing the wombs of our women to continue and maintain power and a stronghold on this place. Dems tell voters to punish reps over abortion and midterms. Senior Dems say elections will determine whether cruel new restrictions on abortion will be put in place. Do you see this deception, the acts of deceptiveness? Look at this. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people, not for. If he have need of thee, he will use thee, and consulted against our hidden ones. They have said, come, let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance. Well, how do they do that? By seducing and taking over the minds of the people, man. Politicizing every damn thing and getting people caught up. All right, so we see here what they're trying to do. Leaders of 5 Democrat campaigning and governing associations on Tuesday vowed to make the midterm elections the referendum on Roe versus Wade. If the Supreme Court overturns, as indicated in the draft decision obtained Monday by Politico, Democrats will campaign to restore abortion access. This is the talking point. This is the whole new reason why you're going to have people out there rioting in the streets, going out and protesting, doing all these demonstrations, acting a damn fool in the streets, because now the Democrats love drama. They love drama. If it ain't some nigga getting beat upside the head and flashing his face all over the TV and immortalizing him on walls, and utilizing the press coverage and the Mockingbird media, man, to get into the minds of the people. What else are they gonna do? 10 years ago, it was Occupy Wall Street. Oh, the big bad banks is taking over everything. Where are they at now? BLM's burnt out. Where are they at? I mean, damn near every don't shoot the messenger. I'm pulling out something about a cop done killed another brother, or there's a brother that done served 30 years for a crime he didn't commit. One of the brothers, Naquab, sent me a video, man. A brother get exonerated for a crime he didn't even commit, and they went back and refiled charges on him and locked him up again. This is the type of madness that we going through. And they're making sure that the crafty council gets into the minds. And this is why you see sisters out here running, celebrating Kevin Samuel's death and all of that on the backs of this whole Roe versus Wade thing. It just moves right into the whole spirit. So we see what's going on here. It's all about the election. Look, hold on, I messed up his name. Slow Biden on Tuesday agreed, saying it will fall on voters to elect pro-choice officials this November. So, the Democrats, man, all they do is mobilize these damn maniacs out here in the streets, these funded groups by George Soros and the rest of them, to go out there, activate them, and put them out there. You can pay for crowds. You can pay for a fake crowd. Um, I think it was one called 1-800. Look at it. Crowds on Demand, innovative PR events. Crowds on Demand. This is a legitimate company. Look, request a quote. Celebrity events, protest rallies and advocacy, corporate events and audiences. Hello? Lest you don't think that there's political theater going on in front of our faces. Crowds on Demand, your home for protest rallies, advocacy, audiences, PR stunts, and political events. Services are available nationwide. So you telling me all of a sudden, all these rallies and everything, man, you got all kind of damn political dissidents going on, agent provocateurs in these things, hired demonstrators. What we do, celebrity events. We will spice up any event with paparazzi, adoring fans, and flash mobs, selecting A-list experience, and we'll tell you how to do it. In the age now where everything is fake it till you make it, getting on the gram, acting like you somebody. A lot of the stuff be fake, man. I showed y'all you can buy fake money off of Amazon. Protest rallies and advocacy. Whether your organization is lobbying to gain approval of a project, move forward a legislative initiative, bring additional pressure within complex litigation, or trying to see swift and effective action in another way, we can set up. Hello? We can set up protests, coordinate phone banking initiatives, and create a nonprofit organization to advance your agenda. I'm done here. So y'all see who we are. Want to request a quote? Here, let's submit the information. Let's find out. I ain't doing that, but you can do it. You see how this game works? And now, Slow Biden is out here saying it's going to fall on you voters to elect the pro-choice officials in November, and you know who will do that? Oh yeah, Slow Biden. He's the one that's going to take your 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 concerns and make them manifest. Let's move on. There's been a Kamala Harris sighting. Oh, now she wants to open up her mouth. Oh, she's done laughing now? Oh, what she got to say? How dare they tell a woman what she can do with her own body? Kamala attacks Republicans and calls overturning Roe vs. Wade a direct assault on our freedom, and the rights of all Americans are under attack. Where was this outrage at when everybody was talking about my body, my choice, when you want to, put something in my arm? Where was it at when my job was being threatened? Where was it at when you was telling me I have to stay 6 feet away from my kids? Where was all this at when you was telling me I got to stay in the house and I can't leave for 14 days or else? Huh? Where was it at when I had to, throw this mask on for the last year and a half, 2 years? Now we want to talk about an assault on freedom and the rights. What? You see how that works? The illusion is that now you've got your freedoms back. You can take your mask off. So now the fact that you can even say that doesn't register in anybody's mind to think back about where was all this at when we wanted it last year. Because now everybody's already thinking, I do have freedom. Oh, wait a minute, this is an attack on freedom. They're attacking the bodies. What? Your bodies wasn't under attack last year and the year before that? Hello? Now it's a talking point. Now it can be weaponized and used. Kamala Harris. She loves the rights and the freedoms of all the Americans. What you can do with her own body? What in the world is she talking about? You couldn't do nothing with your quote unquote own body, could you? No. Kamala Harris came out guns blazing. Oh, now she's passing it. Every other minute she's laughing and cackling all the damn way. And she can't even keep half her damn cabinet and her staff in order as they're running for cover. Now she's coming out guns blazing, doing remarks about Salaki after a leaked Supreme Court document showed a draft opinion that would overturn Roe versus Wade. So is it law or is it an opinion piece? Has it came to pass or no? See, they've already wound up all of the toy soldiers out there and told them, this is coming. You better get out there and protest. Only people that got your back is the Democrats. And you better vote for us because we're hurting right now. Those Republican leaders who were trying to weaponize the use of the law against women. You see how they reversed that? They said that the Republicans were weaponized. They both doing the same thing, man. Remember, two wings on the same bird. They operating on both sides of the coin. They both weaponizing it. Give me a break. At the expense of the deaths of the Israelite seed line. See how that works? Esau, man, the so-called white man, is still monopolizing off of the deaths of our people, man. That's why it says in Revelation 11 and 8, it said this is a place where the bloods of the saints rest, as they still sit back and monopolizing off of the blood of our people. And they're both pointing the finger. The Republicans are trying to weaponize this. It's not us. Give me a break. You're the ones keep talking about vote for us, vote for us. Use this as a means to vote. That's not weaponizing it. Calling in federal cops to come to deal with a city issue. That's not monopoly. What? Anyway. And she added, how dare they tell a woman what she can do, what she can and can't do with her own body? How dare they try to deny women their rights and their freedoms? Again, go back to what we've been going through. Male and female, dealing with the DVOC. VP's remarks were made at the Emily's List annual gala and conference on Tuesday evening. Emily's List and PAC aims to elect Democratic women in favor of abortion rights. Let's get out of here. Okay. We see the games that they playing. Listen, I'm a hypocrite. I'm going to tell y'all right now. I confess. As wicked as Amazon is, I still use them to order stuff. There's some stuff you can't even find unless it's on Amazon. I mean, they didn't monopolize they've been monopolizing the market. So I'm guilty. I'm sure many of y'all are too. But look at what they're doing. Amazon to reimburse U.S. employees who travel for abortions and other treatments. They're incentivizing. They are reimbursing people that leave states that don't allow abortions. Remember, Texas saying you can't do that down here. Guess who opened up their arms? California. Governor Gruesome said, man, we'll be the rest haven for every woman that wants to get them babies yanked up out of you. Come on over here to California. And Amazon is saying, we'll pay for it. Amazon, the second largest U.S. private employer, told the staff on Monday it will pay up to $4,000 in travel expenses. Yeah, this you getting rewarded to go commit murder. Can you imagine? $4,000 in travel expenses annually for non-life threatening medical treatments, including abortions, including it's like according to a message seen by Reuters. Annually, $4,000. So that means that let's just say it costs you whatever, $2,000 back and forth and for your medical treatments. Hey, you women can go out there and get it done twice. Or you go book your flight, go to California over, Arizona to California ain't gonna cost you too much. Go get your abortion for whatever, however much they cost. Come on back to work. Everything's good. How much you still got on your books? Oh, you still got enough to go get it done again? Go get it done again. You got a year to exercise your benefits. Can you imagine? This is the type of madness that they funding. The decision makes the online retailer the latest company after Citigroup Inc. and Yelp Incorporated and others to respond to Republican backed state laws curbing abortion access, helping employees bypass them. It shows how companies are eager to retain and attract talent in locations that remain important to their operation despite legal changes impacting employees' health. All about the money, man. They want to keep them employees. They said, man, hey, you didn't got it. You got pregnant, honey. You don't want the baby. We'll pay for it. We know here in Texas, here wherever Mississippi, I don't know. There's another state. I forgot where it was, but I think it was Louisiana. They even talking about bringing up murder charges on women that try to get abortions. All praises. That's what they're supposed to do. But you over there in Louisiana, they say, oh no, you can't do it here. Oh, don't worry, honey. We'll pay for it. Go and fly up to Ohio or wherever they allowing it. Get that baby yanked out, and you come back here and get to work. Yeah, there we go. We covered that. Covered that. So again, it's politicized to try to get them votes up. Now we see slow Biden popping up again. I told you he's going to try to incentivize and get around here and play politics, trying to get them votes up. The White House says Biden is considering student debt forgiveness for Americans making less than $125,000 a year. Didn't he use that same line to get his ass elected? And has them student loans been forgiven? Hell no. They was all due in February of this year. They doubled back and said, well, everybody's supposed to get $10,000 taken off of their student loans. Has that happened? No. Did they pop up and say, come February 2022, them loans, them forgiveness loans that was given because of the vid or with the DVOC and all of that? Oh, the deferments, that's over with. You need to start paying them loans back. That was because of February 2022. They gave an extension up until May now. Now what's he doing? Playing games again. Oh, guess what? Election year. I'm thinking about considering student loan forgiveness again. You ain't do it the first time, you lying damn devil. And now you're gonna tickle your ass with a feather again and say, guess what? I'm gonna do it again. Just elect me. And guess what? A little dumb down public gonna sit back and say, "Hey, I heard Biden is gonna give up. If we making less than 125,000, he's gonna take away our debts again. Student loans. I ain't got to pay that loan again. You gonna fall for that again, huh?" But let me give you a little heads up ahead of time. Oh, hello. Excuse me. Hold. Pause. Biden does not have the legal authority to cancel student loans for large number of Americans and would be on shaky ground if he used executive action, Obama's top education lawyer says. So, is that another lie? Another false promise that he put out there? Is the white man a devil and a deceiver and a liar? Hello? You be the judge. Another lie just caught him in. Oh, he's considering that's white lie. You put it out there and make it seem like it's going to go down. But he said, "Oh no, no, I said I was considering, but I couldn't do it until after you guys, voted for the Democrats in the primaries. I mean, but you didn't do it. So, whoops. He doesn't even have the legal authority to do that. So they run around here giving out false hopes and dreams and lies. Okay. An ex-lawyer for President Barack Obama's Education Department warned President Slow Biden would be on shaky legal ground by canceling student debt. The Wall Street Journal reported on a strictly confidential memo penned by Obama Education Department lawyer Charlie Rose. He warned that the executive branch likely does not have the unilateral authority to engage in mass student debt cancellation. So he rode the waves on the election just to be president, got a lot of the young voters in there because everybody had that student loan debt, and they said, "Well, Biden said he's going to give us 10,000 on our student loans, and he may even forgive everything." Because that's the American dream, right? If you're gonna be successful, you got to go to college, you got to go get your degree, you got to go out there, set your career paths in order. But guess what? You done racked up 50, 60, 70,000, 100,000, $200,000 in student loans. You become a debt slave to America off the rip. And that's not forgivable. You can't write that off in bankruptcy. No, that sticks with you. So here comes this damn demon, fork tongue creature out here talking about, hey, I'm the one that's gonna wipe away your your student loan debt. First of all, I'm gonna start off. I'm gonna knock down 10 G's off the rip. If you vote me in, that's coming off. I'm taking 10,000 off, and then we can talk about even wiping out the rest later. Give me an office, I promise you I'm gonna do it. Has it happened? Hell no. Not in the manner that he's talking about. They had some little pre-approval. You had to be paying current on your student's loan for like 10 years or something like that in order to qualify for any part of the forgiveness that they would. Man, this dude's a damn liar. So now they already acknowledging that can't even happen. Rose wrote the memo last May for a private client after the White House Chief of Staff Ron Klain said the administration was pursuing a legal review. Press Secretary Jen Psaki said Biden would take some action on student loans before the repayment moratorium lifts on August 31st. Oh, so that's the update. The last one I heard was in May. So they pushed it back into August now. So they just keep pushing it back, kicking the can down the road until they get to them primaries. Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer and Senator Elizabeth Warren have argued Biden can do away with 50,000 per borrower using executive action, and they just got through saying that ain't happening, man. So there you have it, another damn lie. But he's trying to seduce the people into thinking, "Oh, I can do this. Just vote me in. I'll use executive action. I'll take away your student loan debt." And then once you do that, and he doesn't do it, now you then got duped again. Let's move on. Biden's infrastructure bill now signed into law mandates vehicle kill switches by 2026. Oh, so they want to have the ability to kill your engine and cut off your car at any time. And then you wonder why they're trying to get rid of gas power vehicles and all that. They want to move everything electric. They want everything to be hybrid based. They want the black box, the tracking boxes in every car moving forward 2026, 2030, right? Oh, it's got to be part of the Green New Deal, man. You got to save the earth, man. All them gas guzzling, smog emission cars and all of that. We can't have those anymore. And we want to be able to control your cars within the next 4 years. And it's in the infrastructure bill, already signed into law. Imagine that. The rumors were first reported on back in December have returned out to be true. The United States federal government is apparently in the process of trying to force automakers to install kill switches in their vehicles that authorities can use to shut down any newer vehicle. Oh, you want to run? You want to escape? You want to get off the plantation? Guess what? They can shut your damn car off and you can't go nowhere. And they'll track it and come find you. The law comes as part of President Biden's infrastructure bill, which was recently signed into law. According to Yahoo, the government kill switch is like all good thefts of civil liberties, being positioned as a quote safety measure. To mandate needs to be put into effect by 2026. Muscle cars and trucks reported. We know the last month that former Republican Bob Barr, writing for the Daily Caller, called the measure included in the bill, quote, disturbingly short on details, but for the fact that the proposed device must, quote, passively monitor the performance of a driver of a motor vehicle to accurately identify whether the driver may be impaired. Oh, so it's for safety. We want to make sure that you're not driving drunk, speeding, and everything else. And if you are, we'll cut your car off. That's in the bill. Slow Biden, the manager, wiggle that in because he said, "Hey, look, you help me get this infrastructure bill. I'll get you some stimulus." Not knowing everything else that was in there. So look what he's up to. Diabolical. Oh, just in case you was wondering what else was happening. Well, everybody's worrying about being safe and saying the government was looking out for us. So they were trying to protect us from the DVOC. Remember, we covered this a long time ago when everybody got them notifications all of a sudden on their phone about contact tracing. Remember that? Remember in 2020, 2019, there was outages in people's phones for a certain amount of time. People, if you don't remember, T-Mobile, Verizon, all these, everybody had outages in their phone for like half a day. And then all of a sudden, you got a damn contact tracing app on your phone. How did that happen? Lest anybody don't think everybody's phones is tacked or trapped. Why do you always get those emergency alerts on your phone, man? Amber alerts. Some girl got kidnapped, or somebody's giving you a description of a car and where they was last seen. You get them notices on your phone. How did that happen? Where are they getting that from? They're in our phones. That's why. So when everybody got them contact tracing apps on their phones, you didn't ask for the permissions. You could disable it, but they put it on your phone. So now you see here, CDC tracked millions of phones to see if Americans followed the DVOC lockdown orders. See the social experiment? We want to see who's doing what. And we over there looking at China talking about China's over there locking people down. China's tripping. They doing the same thing here, man, more covertly. But they not enforcing the oppression like China is. Over here, they taking notes. So for when the next one comes, as Bill Gates would say, it'll get everybody's attention. As he giggles deviously. CDC tracked millions of phones to see if Americans followed the DVOC lockdown orders. Newly released documents show that the CDC planned to use phone location data to monitor schools and churches and wanted to use the data for many non-DVOC 91 purposes. So they're in cahoots with the schools, in cahoots with your local churches. Huh? Oh, yeah, yeah. Oh, 501c3, did you say that? Yeah, I said it. In lockstep with the government. I'm not gonna say every 501c3, but hello, you got a little backdoor handshake agreements with many of them that have compromised and have cooperated with the government, submitting in the information. The clergy response teams. Go look it up. I've covered it. Clergy response teams, man. Those moving in cahoots with the government, man. Keeping their flocks in order, waiting and telling them when they need to submit. It's all there. It's all there. Here's another one. We talk about Amos 8 and 11. Famine of the land. I mean, famine of the word in the land and whatnot. The censorship, the hate crime bills, all this other stuff, man. It's all going down. They're going to be disappearing brothers off of these platforms, man, and shutting up voices of truth slowly but surely. They just have to get certain laws back in order, or not back in order, but mobilized and in order. Look at this. Bill would allow feds to purge U.S. military and local police using charges of, quote, hate crimes. H.R. 350 would give federal agencies the power to classify as domestic terrorism whatever bureaucrats consider a hate crime. So they will define what's a hate crime and what isn't. Well, don't they already have the what are they calling us now? The BIMs? No, BHIs, Black Hebrew Israelites. They've already managed to give us an acronym, a slanderous acronym by calling us black, a byword. We know we don't follow that. But yeah, we're already classified as a hate group, right? So now they can determine anything that we say, do. Oh, that's a hate crime. They were out there speaking publicly, talking about against homosexuals. That's a hate crime. We need to shut that down. No more public speaking. They already got the permit laws in many states, especially here in California. They don't really enforce it or trip on us. But now they say you can't use amplified sound. They do want to shut your voices up. You can't cry. Okay, well, you're just going to use your voices. Sooner or later, somebody's going to complain and say, they're teaching hate over there. Oh, we got to charge you with a hate crime. That's domestic terrorism. That's a federal crime now. Oh, but we're reading this out the Bible. The Bible said, Leviticus 18:22, the man should be like, before you know it, the Bible now is going to be a book of hate. There's an Edomite man. Brothers have shared it in our chat group. I forgot the Edomite's name. But it's an Edomite man. He does this whole little experiment. He run around trying to see if people would sign a bill to ban the Bible because it's hate speech. And you know how blindly people are just like, oh yeah. And he says the same thing over and over again. Yeah, would you mind signing this bill because we need to ban the Bible. There's a lot of hate speech going on in there, against homosexuals and people are like, what do you say? Ban the Bible? Yeah, ban the Bible. We got to get rid of the Bible, because it's hate speech and just sign right here for me. And people are like, okay, yeah, sign where? And they go sign blind, yeah, name, date, and yeah, right there. Thank you. People blindly, and only a couple of people caught it and said, What'd you say? Ban the Bible? Oh, hell no, we're not doing that." And then once they get, but he says, "Oh yeah, it's just a joke." I just want to see how many people are willing to do it. There were more people willing to sign a bill to ban the Bible than there wasn't. Now that here they are coming behind it with the new HR 350, where bureaucrats will be able to consider what is considered a hate crime or not. So when they dictate policy on what you can and can't say, well, guess what? That's already being done in these community guidelines. YouTube, Instagram, everything else is telling you what you can and can't say. It's what they say, not what makes sense, not what quote unquote free speech is about. So they're curving laws in order to start marginalizing what you can and can't say, what you can and can't do. Okay. A bill in Congress would create new domestic terrorism units within the Department of Homeland Security, Department of Justice, and FBI tasked with spying on Americans considered terrorist threats, then investigating and prosecuting them. HR 350, also known as the Domestic Terrorism Prevention Act of 2022, is making its way through the House Judiciary Committee. It would give federal law enforcement agencies the power to classify as, quote, domestic terrorism, whatever the federal government considers a hate crime. One of the new domestic terrorism agencies the bill would create would focus on domestic terrorism matters that may also be a hate crime incidents. So, you know where this is going. Here's the bill right there. Y'all can look it up, congress.gov, HR 350. Does anybody believe it's fake? It's there. Okay. Look at this. Let's look at another scripture. Violence erupting in Paris. Why is that? Well, maybe it's because it's time for the children of Israel to be delivered. Maybe it's time for us to continually wake up. Second Ezra 9:1. He answered me then and said, measure thou the time diligently in itself. And when thou seest part of the signs past, which I have told thee before, then thou shalt understand that it is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made. Verse 3, therefore, when there shall be seen earthquakes and uproars of the people in the world, then thou shalt well understand that the Most High spake of those things from the days that were before thee, even from the beginning. So what we're witnessing is prophecy being made manifest right before our eyes. Violence erupting in Paris. 45 people arrested, 8 police officers injured in the May Day clashes, while demonstrators attack banks and throw fireworks at McDonald's, as thousands of protesters around the world on International Workers' Day. So much of the uprising and uproars of the people happening there in Paris over the Workers' Day because why? The cost of living, inflation, food shortages, everything else. People is getting upset. So now you're starting to see rioting over famine and food is happening. It's starting over there in Europe right now. That's Paris. Oh, Greece. Greek workers protest at energy cost surge in the May Day rallies. What do they say? Let's read down a little bit. Police estimate that some 10,000 people marched in central Athens and gathered outside the Greek parliament over the cost of living that they say is becoming unaffordable. So here we are. Seals being broken, famine, death, pestilence, plague, war is all here. And our people still scratching their heads saying, is this real? Is the Bible written by a man? I don't know if this is true or not. What? And all this is happening, and you just can't understand and see that this is what's happening in the world. So rioting over not being able to survive off of the wages that they're making there in Paris, Greece. Okay, I remember covering and talking about this last year that there was going to be a baby formula shortage. Look at it. I can't feed my son. Desperate parents cannot get hold of baby formula amid a national shortage as stores ration cans that are selling on eBay for up to $800 after an infection killed a baby and caused a huge recall. Last year, I think I did a DSTM and talked about um, baby formulas coming up short and diapers. So here you go. Now they talking about they can't feed their son. This is why sisters that have the ability to naturally and breastfeed and do what you do is important because if you're relying on the formula, but look, how many of our sisters is out there on uh 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 what's them government programs, man? WIC that you getting the formula and all that stuff with the government subsidies. If there's a shortage on that formula and you can't afford it, and your baby is not accustomed to breastfeeding, we're in trouble. So the famine is even hitting the babies. Let's move on. Food banks are serving more people again as inflation squeezes the budget. If y'all remember back early when the vid hit, DVOG was running wild. 2020, you seen them food banks, man. People was lined up by miles in cars waiting to get a box of food. Well, that's back now, and the food banks are struggling to keep up because of the inflation, the cost of living, the cost of higher food, the supply chains breaking down, the fertilizer becoming short. Everything now is coming down, and people are needing more food, more help. And the food banks are saying, "Hey, we ain't got it. It's getting difficult." Food banks are straining to meet growing demand because of rising food prices, which are pinching budgets for households and the organizations themselves. Forgotten Harvest, which serves the Metro Detroit area, said demand increased 25% to 45% since December. 20% more people are saying we need help. That's just since December. That's in the last 6 months, and it's going to get worse. December in different areas it serves. In March alone, demand rose 30% compared with the previous month. This is why we said a long time ago, been talking about, hey, start prepping, saving a little something here or there. Make sure that you're prepared because it's only going to get worse. If you say, hey man, the Most High is gonna provide, man is gonna fall from the sky for me, and okay, all praise to the Most High, man. I might need to be by you because if your faith and your prayers is delivering food like that, teach me, show me, I'm with it. But until then, I'm gonna go by what Joseph was doing, and anybody else who was receiving prophecy of the Lord that said the famine is coming, man, get ready. You better get ready. Global institutions warn of worldwide food shortages in 6 months. 6 months. Whether this comes to pass or not, who knows? But there's already food shortages. So the fact that they're putting a time frame on it is kind of deceptive There's already shortages. What they're acknowledging is going to get even more relevant and worse before the end of the year. Okay. The IMF, the BIS, World Bank, the UN, the Rockefeller Foundation, World Economic Forum, Bank of America, all of them saying the food crisis. And remember, Slow Biden even said it's going to be food shortages and it's going to be real. I played that. Take heed if you want to. Blow it off if you think it's BS. But you've been to the stores. You've seen the bare shelves Biden talking about shelves are not empty. And you go in there, you're seeing some shelves empty. Or you're seeing shrinkflation. You're seeing items there, but you're not getting the same amount that you used to get. Haven't you even noticed the quality of the food and the products is down now? It ain't the same. Even the quality is down because they can't get all of the products and the ingredients that they used to. So they're saying by before the end of the year, the whole world is going to be dealing with it. But they're already dealing with it in the Middle East. They're already dealing with it in Europe, as we just got through seeing. See, America's still maintaining themselves because it's the richest country in the world. They're able to supplant. They're able to throw in the GMOs. They're gonna continue on leading people along. You got the Dollar Trees and the 99-cent stores and all of that. And even them things, they ain't even existing no more. Ain't nothing 99 cent no more. Even those $1.50, $1.29, $2.99, $3.99, $7.99. They can't even maintain like that. And I don't know about where anybody else is at, but there's been a lot of 99-cent stores closing in LA. They was closing back when the DVOC was hitting. So pay attention. Look, world hunger exploding after 25% spike before the Ukraine war. There was already a 25% increase of world hunger before the war, even though they're running around talking about, oh, this is Putin's war. Oh, because of the war between Russia and Ukraine, this is why we're dealing with food hunger. No, this was already happening. They just politicized it and pointed the blame at somebody so that everybody would hate Russia. Don't fall for the okie doke. Don't fall for the foolishness. There was already global supply chain shortages. I mean, y'all remember the docks here, San Pedro, Long Beach, where they couldn't get the supplies in. The damn tanker trucks was all out in the ocean, couldn't come over here. The trucks was all lined up, all in the streets, parking in the streets and all of that, because they couldn't get the supply chains in. China locked down, you couldn't get nothing coming from China. All that stuff. We was already dealing with food shortages. Now they're saying it was already up 20 before the war. So don't fall for that. It's because of the war. Let's move on. Can the world feed itself? Historic fertilizer crunch threatens food security. So again, we're seeing all of the headlines. Everybody's talking about food shortages, fertilizers, crunches, high cost of diesel gas, high cost of uh, uh, the maintaining the supply chains or whatnot. But niggas are too worried about talking about Kevin Samuels. They're worried about it. Is Will Smith, is his mental health okay? I mean, you watching what is it damn because I'm looking up, I get the research, I'm looking for some news article. They talking about damn Black China in damn the Kardashian lawsuits. I mean, who gives a damn about all of that? Real stuff is going on in the world, and our people caught up watching gossip and what's the other one? Shade Room. If you don't give me a goddamn break, the distractions are so heavy. Worried about watching the damn divorce court with the Edomite that plays Captain Jack Sparrow and his wife. Some big old drama going on. I'm like, get the hell out of here with this foolishness. But people locked in. Inquiring minds want to know. And meanwhile, the whole damn world is going hungry and rioting and protesting and bugged out of their minds. Look at this. For the first time ever, If that doesn't indicate prophecy, that doesn't indicate a marker in history that we're living through. For the first time ever, farmers the world over, all at the same time, are testing the limits of how little chemical fertilizer they can apply without devastating their yields. Come harvest time, early predictions are bleak. In Brazil, the world's biggest soybean producer, 20% cut in potash use, use could bring a 14% drop in the yields, according to the industry consultancy MB Agro. In Costa Rica, a coffee cooperative representing 1,200 small producers sees output falling as much as 15% next year if the farmers miss even one third of normal application. In West Africa, falling fertilizer use will shrink this year's rice and corn harvest by a third, according to the International Fertilizer Development Center, a food security nonprofit group. Quote, probably farmers will grow enough to feed themselves, but the question is what they will have to feed cities. Patrice Anaquin, a senior fertilizer market specialist for IFDC based in Ivory Coast. When you add increased hunger costs, West Africa on top existing risks like terrorism, this is absolutely dangerous for many governments in our region. Look at this. France on the brink of war with Russia as Putin ready to tip Macron into the Ukraine conflict. If France gets involved, then best believe that that's NATO involvement. That's World War III. Why is France relevant to this? Why is France relevant? Let's look at this. Hold on, my bad, y'all. France. Why is France relevant? Okay, so we'll go back to Ezekiel 38. We've covered this on ad nauseum a few times. We've talked about Gog, Magog, the Prince of Meshach. Being Russia, Soviet Union, the or the former Soviet Union. We talked about who the Prince of Meshach is, and Gog being the acting president right now, which is Putin. Verse 4 is telling us that the Most High is going to put hooks in his jaws. He's going to be pulled into war, right? He's going to have allies and those that's going to be going to war with him. Persia, Ethiopia, Libya, we talked about all of them. I've showed news articles on how these are all relevant nations, all of them with shield and helmet. Gomer and all his bands, the house of Togarmah of the north quarters, and all his bands, and many people with thee. Want to pull out Gomer, right? So, Gomer, by many accounts of different scholars and researchers, one of the sons of Japheth, right? Genesis 10 and 1, it says, now these are the generations of the sons of Noah, Shem, Ham, and Japheth, and unto them were sons born after the flood. The sons of Japheth, Gomer, and Magog, and Madai, and Javan, and Tubal, and Meshach, and Tiras. So we're seeing all of these particular nations uh, that will be falling into those areas, right? Um, Now, let's look at this. This is Gomer in the blue letter, right? H1586. Gomer means to be complete. The eldest son of Japheth and grandson of Noah, the progenitor of the early Sumerians, not Sumerians, but Sumerians, and other branches of the Celtic family. Okay. So I bring that out to show, well, who is the Celtic family? Is this book right here, Tower of Babel, the cultural history of our ancestors. And I'm going to read y'all just a little excerpt out of this. Hopefully y'all can see this. If not, let me blow it up a little bit. Okay. Uh, so remember, it said these are descendants of the Celtics, some of them, right? So it said the Celts extended into much of Europe and likely mixed with a number of other European peoples like the Scots, Germans, Irish, and perhaps others. The ancient Celts dominated much of Western Europe and had close ties with the ancient German peoples. Historians concur that the Cimbri people of Denmark also likely one such group that is Germanic origin and perhaps Celtic origin. Likely they are both. Though they were originally of Celtic slash Gomer origin, they later mixed with the Germanic groups through Danuus and Gute, sons of Ashkenaz, when the sea encroached on them and Rome ignored their request to allot some of the land. They joined the Germans in Denmark and fought against Rome. The Celts even mixed with Slavs and Germans to make up the Czech Republic. Even the northern portions of Italy spoke Celtic languages. Let's drop down. I just want to get to the point. There are many people, groups living within China that did not come through the uh, Sinites, but were conquered by them. This one group, their genealogy goes back to Gomer. Wherever the French and Danes have gone, so has the blood of Gomer. Why do I pull that out? Because it's letting you know that the sons of Gomer have an allegiance or have uh, a likeliness with the ancient people of Gomer. So now, if we're seeing here prophetically that France is on the brink of war with Putin, and we just got through seeing that in Ezekiel 38 that Gomer was going to be involved in war with all his bands, France and all his bands, the House of Torgum, the North Quarters, all his bands, and many people with them. Be thou prepared and prepare thyself, thou and all thy company that are assembled unto thee, and be thou a guard unto them. So France is going to be involved in this war in some capacity with the Ukraine. Would they be the ones that initiate the war with uh, NATO? Time will tell. We shall see. That would be the initiation of World War III. So right now they're saying that France is on the brink of going to war with Russia, thus fulfilling prophecy, thus accelerating into World War III as the other NATO nations now will have to openly come out and act in war with Russia, as opposed to doing it by proxy, doing it on the low, funding and training and giving weapons and supplying intelligence to the Ukraine. They're going to have to openly come out and start handling business. So there we see. That's just one source. All right, let's move on. Russia prepares to announce mass mobilization on May 9th, says Ukrainian intelligence. So, in other words, come Monday, they talking about, according to quote unquote Ukrainian intelligence, Russia's getting ready to put the smack down and really start mobilizing uh, their troops, and they're up in the ante and where they're going to take this war to. What does that mean? We shall see. We shall see. So May 9th, that's a marker. Monday. This is according to Ukrainian intelligence that Russia's getting ready to mass mobilize on the Ukraine and really start putting the smash down. Is that going to make the NATO nations step up and join in and help? Instead of throwing stones and hiding their hands, is that going to accelerate into World War III? We shall see. This is just intelligence that they're putting out there. Could be propaganda. We know that there's a lot of propaganda being used. We know that there's a lot of wag the dog moments happening. So let's see what happens with that. Okay. But we see provocation. Look, America, now they out here flexing their muscle. So we've seen that Putin did his test launch of the Satan 2 missile. He loaded up some submarines uh, with missiles that was capable of having nuclear warheads. We see that North Korea's been launching they missiles every damn week. China's then up the ante, looking to mobilize and get their military lined up over there in the Solomon Islands. Now America has stepped up their game and they're saying, well, let me make sure that everybody knows we ready to go too. America flexes this maritime muscle. U.S. Air Force successfully tests 2,000-pound air launch quick sink bomb and blast a cargo ship out of the sea in one strike. So now everybody's flexing. Remember what I was talking about? Everybody's talking nuke talk now, huh? Everybody's talking nuke talk. Everybody's launching, showing off their weaponry. This ain't happened in a long time. When's the last time y'all remember all these nations flexing their muscles, showing off their weaponry in the midst of war? You see the pictures here. You see the missile right there. They had a cargo ship out there as part of the experiment, and ironically, we just got to seeing, uh, I think a second Russian warship got sunk. They already sunk one, and it was already said that the U.S. provided intelligence to the Ukrainians on where the ship was, told them how to, launch the missiles and do all of that. And now another one just got hit. Now America's flexing their muscle, showing they can bomb and take out ships. So everybody's flexing right now. Thus is the way of war. Pope admits NATO likely provoked Putin's invasion, barking at the gates of Russia. Hold on. I thought this was a humanitarian war. I thought this was Russia's war. Where's all them devout Catholics at? Why aren't you going to stand behind the Pope now? Shouldn't he be an enemy to humanity? He said that NATO started the war, not Putin. Are you Catholics going to stand behind that? Or are you going to sit back and you're going to still buy into the propaganda and say that ain't right? I don't agree with that. Let's see how many stand up and say, "Oh, this is humanitarian war. Oh, this is Russia trying to bully and smash on the Ukraine. That ain't right. Women and children are being raped and killed, and now Pope saying, "Oh, NATO started it," when that's really what happened. So he's got a little ounce of truth popping out his mouth. But let's see what the Catholics do. Are they going to stand behind their Papa? Huh? No, you're not going to do that. You're not going to do that. You're going to hide and be quiet, just like you do with all the pedophile cases and everything else that goes on over there. Can't stand for no damn truth, man. Pope Francis has said that he's ready to meet President Vladimir Putin in Moscow in hopes of brokering an end to the war in Ukraine, according to the Vatican news agencies. He said in an interview published Tuesday by the Italian daily uh, Corriere della Sera, "I'm not going to Kyiv for now. I feel that I must not go. First, I must go to Moscow. First, I must meet Putin. But I am also a priest. What can I do? I do what I can. If Putin would only open the door." The Roman Catholic leader's criticism of Russia's actions in Ukraine were made clear throughout the interview, but among the more interesting and surprising lines came when he addressed the roots of the invasion and war, which started on February 24th. He told the newspaper that the barking of NATO at the gates of Russia is likely what motivated the Putin to attack the Ukraine. That's what happened when they were saying that they were going to recruit the Ukraine. After they said that they wouldn't do it, NATO said that they was not going to move any closer to Russian territory, and they broke that and said, well, it was on the table. Ukraine could be possibly accepted into NATO. That provided a breach of security and a broken agreement with NATO. And Putin took action. He said, "I'm not going to wait for y'all to bomb first. I'm going to bomb first." And that's what went down. The Pope said it. All right. So, how many of the Catholics going to stand on that? You're going to take the wisdom of your Papa and his uh his political views and understanding of the geopolitics, huh? Are you gonna stand back and still support Ukraine and the foolishness that's going on over here? All right, we'll see. Look, North Korea keeps missile flurry coming ahead. They're still launching their missiles. And slow Biden's trying to creep on over there, man, trying to tell them calm down. Famine's still going. Bird flu puts organic chickens into lockdown from Pennsylvania to France. So no longer are they allowing free range chickens to go out there and roam and do what they need to do. Now they're locking them down. So the organic free range, they're going to have to start taking that off the labels because they're going to start locking down the chickens now because of this bird flu. But isn't that prophecy though? Hold on. What's Hosea say? Hosea 4. It says, "Hear ye the word of the Lord, ye children of Israel." Who's he talking to? Oh, the children of Israel. Okay. "For the Lord hath a controversy with the inhabitants of the land, because there's no truth, nor mercy, nor knowledge of God in the land." This is classic scripture. Y'all should know this. Verse 2, "By swearing and lying and killing and stealing, committing adultery, they break out, and blood touches blood." This is the deception. This is the wickedness that's befallen the land. No truth, no mercy, no knowledge of the Most High in the land. Adultery's breaking out. Everything's going wild. Verse 3, though. "Therefore shall the land mourn, every one that dwelleth therein shall languish with the beasts of the field and with the fowls of the heaven." It says what is going to languish? Shortages. The fowls of heaven. Yea, the fishes of the sea also shall be taken away. So there's going to be a time when the fish is going to be polluted. That happened back in, what was it, 2009 or 10, when the that earthquake hit over there in Japan, and the Fukushima plant got exposed, and the nuclear waste went into the Pacific Ocean, man. They were saying how bad the mercury was in a lot of the fish, and it was all jacked up. You see the fish falling from the sky, you know, all of that's going on. They said this is going to languish the fowls of heaven. So to see that we're dealing with this bird flu pandemic, they're going into lockdown. The cost of eggs now is like doubled in many places. Those who, looking for the free range organic, that's now being compromised. So now are these farmers are now going to have to be operating damn near like uh these big mass producing corporations, man, who don't treat the chickens right. So organic and free range chickens have been thrown into lockdown. Egg laying hens that normally have access to the outdoors can no longer roam as freely as feel the sun on their beaks, as some U.S. and European farmers temporarily keep flocks inside during lethal outbreaks of bird flu, according to the egg producers and industry representatives. So we're seeing a issue that's going on with the fowls that we just got to reading. All right. Here's the question: is the U.S. really out of the pandemic phase of the DVOC? Well, you tell me. I'm still standing on my square saying that the answer is no, and they will be bringing back restrictions, lockdowns, and mandates in the future. That's where I stand at with it. The fact that they're even questioning this through Yahoo, saying, "Are we really out?" Well, I thought Frankenstein Fauci said we was. Oh, well, how about this? FDA limits. Some news source, I think ABC, the sister sent me, said that they were restricting the J&J DVOC poison. Johnson, see, I had an article too. Hold on. See, we talk about these people, man, and are they ever held guilty? Shaq, you already know. the famous Zachariah scripture. They hold themselves not guilty. Johnson and Johnson, man. They got bodies they got bodies on their rap sheet. Poisoning on their rap sheet. And they still operating. $82 billion in annual revenue in 2020. 82 billion. Top products include Tylenol, Stelara, Invega, and various medical devices. This is Johnson and Johnson, right? Let's just look at this. Hold on. Johnson Johnson's over 135,000 employees spread across 60 countries. Its main headquarters is in New Brunswick, New Jersey. J&J brought in 82.6 billion in 2020. It ranked number 1 in annual revenue among its competitors. Number 1. Over 80, damn near 83 billion, right? Hold on. I want to see something. Look at it. 45.6 billion in pharmaceutical sales, medical devices 23 billion, consumer health sales 14 billion. I mean, follow the money, man. Look at these are all their products that they make. But let's get to the real. Notable Johnson and Johnson recalls. They got a history of it. 1982. 1982, McNeil. Product recall, Tylenol, acetaminophen capsules. Reason for the recall, medicine laced with potassium cyanide poisoning, resulting in several patients' deaths. This since 82. 82. They got a record for killing people. But they just made $83 billion 2 years ago. 2009 to 2011. Product recalled several OTC medicines, including Tylenol, Motrin, Benadryl, St. Joseph aspirin, Sudafed, Pepcid, Mylanta, Rolaids, Zyrtec, all these eye drops, tens of millions about unpleasant smells causing nausea, tiny metal shards, and liquid medicines wrong ingredient levels. That's from 2009 to 2011. 2 years they had bad meds out there. How about this? 2010, product recalled ASR hip resurfacing system and ASR XL acetabular system, a metal on metal hip implants. Reason for the recall: metal poisoning, loosening of the implant or joint dislocation, causing for additional surgeries. Oh, how about 2012? Ethicon, Gyncare Pro Lift Kit M plus M kit, another uh implant, pelvic implant. Reason for recall: perforation of organs, vaginal bleeding and scarring, mesh erosion, severe pain. And they're still in business, huh? 2013, Motrin got recalled for infants. May contain tiny particles of plastic. Need I go on? 2013, product recall, Risperdal, constant, an injectable antipsychotic drug. Routine testing showed evidence of mold. 2014, power morcellators, spread of woo, hold on. Ethicon, the product I recall, power morcellators, spread of uterine cancer, rapid progression of the disease and death. 2016, same drug, Ethicon again. Physio mesh flexible composite hernia mesh study showed higher revision rates after the implant. I mean, the list goes on and on. 33,000, one of the more famous, 2019, 33,000 bottles of Johnson & Johnson baby powder. The FDA found a small amount of asbestos, a known carcinogen, in a sample. Want to see the lawsuits? Oh, 550 lawsuits from metal poisoning. 7,000 lawsuits, 7,056 lawsuits. Dislocation, loosening, melatonin, metal poisoning, needing revisionist surgeries. 13,000 lawsuits. 27,000 from the ovarian cancer, from the Johnson & Johnson, from the baby powder. I mean, hello? And they still got the money rolling in. And the FDA said, give them the authority to poke people up in their arms. And all of a sudden, all these blood clots start happening and everything else, huh? And they said, oh, that's rare. Don't worry about it. How many people died? 12? Oh, that's just a rare occasion. Now they got to double back. FDA limits. Should we be surprised? And we haven't even looked at Pfizer and what their history. We haven't looked at Moderna. But I digress, because I don't want to hear no problems with the YouTube police. But we can read it ourselves. FDA limits use of Johnson & Johnson DVOC jab due to the risk of life, threatening blood clots a year after it lifted a pause on one-shot regimen taken by 18 million people. 18 million people still waiting to see if they're okay. Okay, let's move on. New York City could bring back the DVOC mask mandate. Let me double back before I say something that triggers them. New York City could bring back the DVOC mask mandate. The jab checks if hospitals come under pressure. So is it on the table that things should come back? You know, when everything starts in New York, it always triggers and goes everywhere else, just like that was the pattern. So don't be surprised if New York says, hey, the hospital's under pressure. You know, when flu season kicks in, oh, we need to throw the mask back on. And then we'll go from there. You see the headlines. I'm standing on my square and saying we ain't done. Oh, NYC raises the DVOC alert level as new cases surpass key threshold. They had a threshold and it's already surpassed. Uh-oh. Manhattan fuels a jump. I'm gonna keep moving. I ain't gonna dwell on this, but you see, CDC restates recommendation for masks on the planes and trains. Here they go. Look at this witch, man. New White House press secretary, the new one, because the redhead Psaki, she quit. She remember we covered that story. She's going to MSNBC supposedly, so that she can go and start implementing more Democratic talking points, so she can be part of the Mockingbird media to try to train and get people's attention. Then we just got through talking about everything that was happening with CNN, and they said that it was being ran like a cult. And now all of a sudden they got to come out talking about we want to stand for the truth. We want to talk facts now. We don't want to have a opinion talking heads no more. As they were exposing the fact that the media is all based around lies and a cult like atmosphere. So Jen Psaki, the redhead, she's going to go be part of the cult. And here they go. They got this little Uncle Coon or Aunt Jemima, bed wench for another damn white woman. Dyke. She's taking over. New White House press secretary sparks fresh ethical dilemma for CNN. Psaki replacement, Karine Jean-Pierre, partner. Listen to this. Her partner, her dyke lover, is a CNN political reporter, Suzanne Malveaux, as critics liken the conflict of interest to Chris Cuomo scandal. Oh, so Karine Jean-Pierre, who's getting ready to be the mouthpiece for the White House, she's married to a CNN political reporter. See how that works? How they keep it in the family? In the same bed? And now she's gonna go out here and start parading around, speaking up for the LGBTQ HIV and every other cause that they got. This is how slow Biden is operating. But he's doing the same thing that his master did for him. It's the old Biden campaign. Because when Obama was in there, he did everything for the LGBTQ HIV sodomite community. Slow Biden is just doing the same damn thing, putting them up in office, putting them up in our faces, putting up got the damn health secretary, a tranny. As you see what's going on all throughout the earth with all these damn laws coming in, protecting and influencing, not only through the schools, through politics and everything else, man. It's just part of the takeover. Spiritual Sodom is in your face. Look, schools in Oregon install menstrual product dispensing machines in boys' bathrooms. Boys' bathrooms. The woke state of Oregon install menstrual product dispensing machines in the boys' bathrooms after the governor signed a law forcing them to provide free period products in the boys' bathroom, mind you. I can't. I got to move on. This is ridiculous. See, furious Mexican couple has a Nazi themed wedding. I said that right. Mexican couple has a Nazi themed wedding complete with SS uniform, swastikas, and a child named after Reinhard Heydrich on the anniversary of Adolf Hitler's nuptial. See, this is what makes the Negro onlys go wild. When but Daniel 9:7 says that we got confusion of faces. They may be Spaniards. Who knows? But see, this is the problem. When you got supposedly our people doing folly like this only leads to it. But let me help out. Let me help out before the Negro only say, see. Hold on. Uh, lest anybody believe that every this is why you got to be careful. And if you stand on that chart, that's cool. Whatever. I ain't debating that today. But the problem when you're identifying tribe by landmass can get you in a little bit of trouble because look at this 15 countries with the largest white population outside of Europe. Let's look down first. Number 15, the Dominican Republic. In the Dominican Republic, around 1.6 million people, or 16%, are of European origin. It is not a surprising fact since Columbus reached the island during the second voyage and white people remained here ever since. It's argued that Columbus' remains are buried in the Dominican Republic. So, you're seeing the infiltration of the Spaniards, Europeans, they're coming in there, laying seed. Everybody there that say they from the Dominican Republic isn't a Simeonite. Everybody says that, I'm Dominican. As they say, all skin folk ain't kinfolk. That's just in the DR, Uruguay, with 87% of the population being white. 87% of the country's population being white, or 2.94 million people. Uruguay certainly deserves an important place among the countries with the largest white population outside of Europe. Forget New Zealand. How about Cuba? In a multi ethnic country such as Cuba, around 4 million people, or 37% of the country's population, is white. These people mainly consist of immigrants which came from Spain in the 18th and 19th centuries. And you know that there was an exodus of the Revelation 2 and 9, 3 and 9 people that left after World War II that went to Argentina, they went to Cuba. If you look at there's a special on it was Netflix, and I think it was part two of the Cocaine Cowboys or something like that. And they tell you, man, the biggest drug dealers that came up out of Cuba, they was all Cubans, they was all speaking Spanish the whole nine, but they was fake Jews. They were fake Jews, man. They were descendants of the Revelation 2 and 9 folks. But you leave it to them. They say no, we're Cuban. But then they tell you, yeah, our people came from such and such. So, again, just because you're saying it, don't mean that you are. 37% of Cuban invaded by the so-called white man. Peru, as the majority of Peru's population, mestizo, the population of mixed white, mostly Spanish and indigenous population ancestry, the percentage of solely white people is around 15%, and the list goes on and on. Colombia, 20% of the population is Esau. Mexico, and here's the problem with that. It said it's quite hard to evaluate Mexico's ethnic composition. Many people consider themselves white. What? Many people consider themselves white, although they have indigenous ancestry as well. Therefore, we took the lowest rate of 9% or 10 million white people. They took the low route. That means that there quite possibly could be a lot more than that, just off the fact that they claim white because they think that's going to get them over here to America faster. But there's, you see cats like Canelo and all them. These cats is Edomites. All out of Mexico, Venezuela. They say half of the population of Venezuela is white, 43%. So who knows? And how accurate these are? Look, they say Chile, 88% of the population is white. Is this all accurate? Maybe, maybe not. It's probably off of what the people are claiming. But if we look at these numbers, there's a vast discrepancy about when you see stuff like this, and you wonder why the spirit, bears witness like that. How else would you want to, identify with some madness like this, right? But anyway, let's move on. But again, this is what made the Negro only Israelites, would love headlines like this because they doing all this folly. But Daniel 9:7 says we got confusion in the faces, man. Our people don't understand who they are. But then again, maybe they do know who they are. Let's move on. I bring that up because of this. Deuteronomy 28:54 tell you his eye is going to be evil. The man that's tender and delicate among you, his eye is going to be evil toward his brother. Latinos say they're discriminated against by other Latinos just as much as others. So brown on brown crime, so forth and so on. But this one is all race bait. I mean, color baited. See, Latinos in the United States with darker skin are experiencing discrimination from fellow Latinos and from non-Latinos in nearly the same rate. A new poll from the Pew Research Center says the report, published Monday, is based on a survey conducted in March of 2021 among a randomly selected sample of 3,375 Hispanic adults drawn from panels originally recruited using probability-based methods. Among Latinos with darker skin, about 41% said they were discriminated or treated unfairly by another Latino, and 42% said they had been discriminated against by non-Latinos, the survey found. So we see color-based politics and hate happening even within Hispanic and the Latino population. This is why people are destroyed for lack of knowledge, and we see how the so-called white man capitalizes on colorism um, as a method of destruction and separation. So then when you look at the population and you're saying, well, actually, are these other cats really Latino or are they Edomites? That's why the scriptures say, man, the spirit bears witness that we're the children of the Most High, Romans 16. Because, again, all skin folk and kinfolk. There's a lot of madness going on out there, man. We got to be discerning. The Colorado River reservoirs are so low, the government is delaying releases. So, the drought is still going on. That also is affecting the crops and the plants that's happening, the planting that's happening over here. So it's a lot happening right now. I'm gonna just breeze through the last few because I only got a couple more minutes. I got to close out. But you know, new record for diesel fuel prices. That's going up. Um, and I think I covered a few episodes back about the importance of diesel fuel, everything that's being used for, and it's a lot of stuff. And the importance of diesel fuel is serious. It's letting it be known, man. People that have their independent trucks, their fuel bills have jumped up $1,800 a month since last year. How long before they're bankrupt and can't say, man, I can't afford to even drive my truck no more? That means that supply chains is even going to get hit even worse. That means that the food cost is going to go up. Stocks and bonds are falling in lockstep at a pace unseen in decades. There's no rest haven for wealth right now. Everything's getting hit. Stocks, bonds, cryptos, everything's getting smashed down. Oh, California Democrats allow a gas tax to rise 3 cents per gallon in July. So they've managed to pass a law to increase the gas tax, to increase the cost of gas even more for us. Oh, well, what happened to them $400 gas cards? I thought that was on the table. No, no, no. They managed to pass this. They managed to do an increase. What happened to that relief on them cards? Anybody heard any more talk about that? Remember, it was a proposal. They didn't pass a thing, but what they did pass was an increase in gas tax, man. This is the madness that we got to deal with. Oh, white privilege at its finest. New U.S. Embassy rapist claims he's not guilty due to erectile dysfunction. Ex-CIA agent 45 who admitted raping 26 women at a Mexico apartment says drug used for enlarged prostate made him impotent. So he's saying, I admit to raping them, but actually I didn't because, I couldn't get it up. Which one is it, man? White man speak with forked tongue. Brian and Jeffrey Raymond, 45, admitted to drugging and raping at least 26 women while on assignment for the U.S. Embassy in Mexico. So he's down there as a CIA agent, raping Mexican women. And then says, oh, it couldn't have been me because I couldn't get it up. I'm on drugs. But in the April fling, he's now claiming that he couldn't be guilty of the sexual abuse allegations because he suffers from erectile dysfunction. The former CIA agent was arrested in October 2020 on sexual abuse charges. Raymond, who left his job in June, is accused of filming many of his alleged victims while they were unconscious, according to federal prosecutors. His alleged abuse was uncovered after the police found a naked, hysterical woman screaming for help from the balcony of his Mexico City apartment in May. Raymond remains in custody in the Washington, D.C. jail. Sounds like colonization. Sounds like classic so-called white man going into colonized lands, raping the women as usual. I mean, it's par for the course, man. That's how he gets down. And now he's claiming foul. Hey, I couldn't get it up. I couldn't have did it. After you admitted it, after you got films of you recording them doing this. You dig what I mean? And now he's sitting back talking about it couldn't have been me. Good Lord. If the white man ain't the devil, man, fork tongue creature that he is, man, I don't know what to tell you. Right? So I gotta close out, y'all. I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to the Most High while Yahweh Shai, man. Always remember, fear the Most High, keep the commandments. Karatazar, no, I don't follow. I believe that all of Israel is of Black, Native American, Hispanic descent, but I don't teach that the tribes are who the chart says it is. But that's for another discussion, man. We can chop it up on that on another note. But I don't discourage or not tripping on nobody that's teaching the chart or whatever. I used to teach it for years, but greater understanding came to me, and I don't try to pinpoint and say because you're here or there. There's a lot that goes into it in the prophecies of Genesis 49, Deuteronomy 33. I have a different insight on it, but you know, it is what it is on that. But love to all my people, man. I'm gonna get on out of here. All praise, honor, and glory to the Most High, man. Continually fear the Most High. Keep the commandments. Don't shoot the messenger. All right. Y'all be well, man. Enjoy the rest of your Shabbat.